Hey guys, let's talk about some stuff. I want to make this video that's really important, and I want to make it on my site, my YouTube channel, and then on I'm going to share it with my soul sisters, Radical Rose and Rebellious Rose and Ridiculous Rose and all those roses I was telling you about. They had and it's important, and I figured it out. It's like a key code, and I want to say this being all happy and like uplifting so that I can bring a uplifting vibe. The truth is, I just need to be really honest, and I'm always honest. But I mean, I want to talk about how do we create a new life that we like? How do we break this system of cycle, this matrix of being shit on by all these forces, and perhaps our own selves are doing it. I don't know. Maybe we are doing it by jumping into this Tesseract. I was just watching this video that I made where I'm just listening to a Super Soldier Summit video that has Erin Green something last name. I can't remember her last name, dang it, because I want to talk to her. I want to call her up and see if she would let me interview her, because oh my God, do I want to know what she has to say. So I videotaped myself listening to this, and then I got distracted, and I allowed myself to look like my real self, and I look, you could see my age, and you could see that I had gained some weight, which I still have. And it's not a great video for me, but I thought the information was so just worth considering, And so I'm going to make that same video, but I'm going to put the visual won't be just me. It will be like my crystal setup and the sun shining through. I have this whole idea for this new channel, which I think is going to be, which is already called Crystal New Blueprint. And I'll talk about that on that channel. So I'm going to have those two channels. And so this is the thing. This is what I realized, that the way to recreate, to create something different than what's going on, and the way to break the cycle of repetitive negative stuff. I have acne. Oh, I have a zit on my nose. Luckily, I have this stuff. This is BB cream. Look at this fabulous packaging. This is Physicians Formula that I was telling you about. Quick switch into skincare, because for some reason I have to talk about skincare all the time, even while I'm philosophizing. That's pretty crazy. Okay, so remember when I was doing this, I was talking about this stuff, which is also Physicians Formula, and this is it's called Youthful Wear, and wow, the back of this is already worn out, which is really interesting, because it just goes to show you how cheap and the ink is on these things. This is some sort of a triple, it's like this. This is SPF 30. It's all-in-one beauty balm compact cream. This was the first fabulous thing I've discovered, and it's moisturizer, and it's an SPF of 30, which is way better than 15. It's light medium, which is exactly right for me, because I'm not light and not medium. I'm light/medium, and it just has a nice thick creamy quality, and it goes on nice and smooth, and if you just have 1 second to get ready, this is very handy. And I like to apply things with my fingers, but they give you this. I just find that these I don't know, I always worry that they're gross. Also, I'm not in love with this container. I think the mirror should be up here, or I don't know, on the top or the bottom. I just don't like the way it is, but these are very comparable. I actually thought this was better because it supposedly matches your skin tone or something, but anyway, they're both really good. Either one. I just like the brush. And this should come with a brush, and it doesn't. It should, though. So it feels so good to brush things on your face. So the thing that I realized was that the way to change the matrix that we're in, and I'm also going to have this club. I'm also going to have a channel called the MBA Club, but it's going to be on YouTube. It's going to mean Matrix Busting Association. because I'm going to try to bust the matrix. And they don't like it when you bust the matrix, but I'm going to try to do it anyways, because I just feel like that is my goal and job in this life, is to bust the matrix with my matrix busting club. Let's all bust the matrix together with our busts. I like to make jokes sometimes. I like to make, a lot of times sort of like lewd, crude, or sexual jokes will come out of me, which is, really inappropriate for a soccer mom. But when I wasn't a soccer mom and I was, a raunchy sailor, it was perfectly appropriate for me to make inappropriate sexual comments about whatever I thought was funny at the time. Because when you're a man, you get to do that. When you're a woman, you get thrown in jail. And when you're a heretic, like I have always been, you get abused on this planet. This place abuses you. Now, Aaron Green says the angels are abusing us because the angels were assigned and contracted to do evil in order to make us face our own darkness, and that in that way bring up our light, like challenge us. I don't know. Possible till proven impossible. That's my thing. So here's my little chat. What I wanted to say was, if you ask a question, you put your mind in an openness that allows new information to come in. And this is how I realized that I can affect. This is what I think is the key here, one of the many keys. There's all these keys. Sex is a key, but you have to do it with love and in a certain way. Otherwise, it's a damaging, horrible, horrendous, traumatizing experience. It's either super the best or super the worst, There's all these keys, sacred geometry, yoga, these versions of these mudras with your body, working with crystals and gems and all that, but really it's all about internally facing your fears and your dark side, and then discovering how your light side reflects the dark side. I mean, I have always said that you can't just focus on the light, you have to focus on the dark. I've always known that intuitively, because I've lived on this planet gazillions of times, and I'm highly trained for understanding the whole balance, and that's why I came down here this time, was to talk about the balance and the 50-50 of this universe and this Tesseract, which really beats the crap out of you. That's why we're all suffering and having a shitty time most of the time, or having our heart broken and having disappointment. And the whole thing is designed for failure and upset. The entire thing is programmed to make you disappointed, feel a sense of loss, how betrayed. It's all about betrayal. So anybody who comes here, the reason we're always passing these things around on Facebook trying to cheer ourselves up is because we all instinctively know that we're in for a lot of shit. Because we are, and we all know that because we've been living on this planet long enough to know that this shit happens. Shit happens is what the phrase is. It's not miracles happen. I mean, that's a phrase too, but shit happens is way more common. So when I realized that if you ask yourself a question, you are, just by the virtue of asking it, creating a possibility for some change, something new. So when you ask for something new, it can be anything. It can be something you want or something you don't want, depending on how you're set up inside this Tesseract, which is why they say meditate, because they mean go within. The only way to manage this insanity of the really vicious Tesseract is to go within and go into the stillness. And the stillness, ye shall know me, which is the saying, I think, that's in the Bible or something. It's supposed to mean, what does it mean? I started to think it mean when you died, you shall know me / God Goddess, because that's when you got out of your body and then you were back to oneness. So the stillness is, rigor mortis. Kind of like a joke on, but it could also mean meditation within, when you go inside and be still. How else would you now, the minute you're out into the Tesseract, it's woo, woo, like I said in that other video. When you watch the videos of the Tesseract, you'll see what I mean. It's insane. It's like it's a sacred geometrical program that is designed to toss and turn you to the point where you don't know which end is up, which is often how we feel on this planet, right? What the hell's going on? Which end is up? Where am I? I'm lost, Some people are found through Jesus, which is really interesting, because some people say that Jesus doesn't exist, and was a figment of the Anunnaki's imagination. I don't know. I don't know. I've got to figure this out. I'm going to figure this out. But this is what I figured out. If you ask this question, once you ask, get yourself into open-mindedness. Don't believe everything everyone tells you. Don't believe anything anyone tells you. In fact, question every single thing anybody tells you. It's not comforting to question everything in a way, because you just want to be told the truth and have somebody care about you enough to tell you the truth and take care of you when you're a baby, and then when you're old enough, you hope to be in a safe-ish world. This world is completely unpredictable, and human beings are completely unpredictable. Anyways, when you ask a question, stay in curiosity. They say curiosity killed the cat, but it also leads to enlightenment. And what does it mean to kill the cat? They either said that to scare you, to make you not curious. That's what it was. Because if you're curious, you can figure things out. Because that's the beauty of humanity. We can figure things out. Even though we act horrible half the time, we are able to figure things out, and there's a lot of good people on this planet, and not everybody's bad, We all may have a dark side, but there's beauty in the darkness, So we have to look at our dark and our light in order to make the light 51%, just a little bit more than half, which is very challenging on a 50-50, exact 50-50 planet where everything is designed 50-50 inside the Tesseract. I don't know how you can get to 51%. That must be, if that's possible, that's amazing. Here's my effort to bring things up to 51%. If it's 52%, then the other side is 48%, and 48% is good because I like the number 48. So maybe I'll try to bring it up to 52%. So I'm going to do that in this video and all of the videos I'm going to be coming up with. I'm going to try to bring up the light to 51% so we can get the hell out of the dark matrix and get the planet back for humanity that it was designed for. It was actually designed for the whole universe. The whole universe is everything in the universe has a genetic coding that is existing on this planet, which is why we have so many species, right? Doesn't that make sense? All the different kinds of insects, all the different kinds of animals, all the variety of everything, plants. If you took that premise that everything on this living library, this Earth was designed to be a library. What is a library? It stores information. So if every insectoid and catoid and dolphinoid and whatever oid is out there, it's got a key code. It's got a geometry coding on this planet Earth, and you can access life in a living form. Instead of just reading a dormant book, you can come in and play with actual living creatures. That's the point of the library. But it was the egomaniacs, which I guess are the Draconians. For some reason, they threw the egomaniacs in here first. I guess this particular Tesseract, which is a universe, maybe it was designed specifically for us to test our asshole side. So, of course, they put the Draconians in first, because the Draconians are the real biggest assholes of all the assholes in the universe. I guess the Draconians have the biggest egos and are the most worst. So you put the worst in so that you can then throw the light in and try to battle up against your worst fear, right? Your worst enemy is probably some creepy egomaniac Draconian from Draco. What do those guys look like? I don't even know. I also don't understand how they say that they made humans in their image, the image of God, the gods. So, okay, but if the Anunnaki are reptiles, then why aren't we reptiles? Why don't we look like reptiles? Why aren't we cute little geckos walking around? We could be geckos, having a society, right? I mean, why are we humans? They say the human form is the greatest form that was ever designed in the universe and the most likely to survive. So that's maybe why. But if the Anunnaki are reptiles and lizards, then I just don't understand. If Enki created us and Enki is a reptile, why aren't we reptilian looking? Why do they have to hide their reptile nature in the human body? What's that about? Right? What is that about? So I want to know that story. I want to talk to somebody about the Anunnaki, the family, Anu and the brothers, and where are the mothers? And I want to talk about, I just want to interview somebody who can give us a visual picture. I want some Hollywood movie maker to make a movie that really shows the truth. Who are these people? And what's their diff? What's their problem? What's their issue? I guess their issue is our issue. So what's your issue? What's my issue? So if you ask yourself this question, what would happen if I loved myself? The word love is in it. What would happen if I loved myself? What would the day be like if I loved myself? And what would my, what would my life look like if I loved myself? You know, that's a good question to ask. And ask it a lot. Ask it all day. I actually have been working with this idea of asking this question, what would happen if I loved myself? If it changes, what happens? And I think it absolutely does change. Even the smallest thing, like you're going up to the counter and you see this really good piece of pizza and you really want this specific one and other people are in line and you're really worried just looking at this little moment that somebody's going to take your piece of pizza and the one that you want, the specific one, you know, that has this like perfect crispy edge and this like perfect like way that the cheese is all crispy on the edge. You know, you just have to have that perfect one, right? So how do you make sure you get the perfect one and the three people before you don't get the perfect one? You can try this. Just try it as an exercise. What would happen if I loved myself? Just keep saying it in your mind. What would happen? What would happen if I loved myself? What would happen if I loved myself? And maybe you'll get your piece of pizza somehow. The guy will give the other pieces to the other people, and you'll get the one you want. Just try it. It's like a thing to try. What would happen if I loved myself? You know, if you can tell that you're heading into some conflict because you're going into a situation where you know it could be conflictual. If you say before you get in there and start even an hour earlier, what would happen if I loved myself? What would happen? Just that simple phrase, what would happen if I loved myself? That's 7 words. You can also say, what would my world be like if I loved myself? That's 10. What would my life be like if I loved myself, you know? What would my job be like if I loved myself? You can play with it. Just say whatever you want. But the basic phrase to stick with, if you unless you want to make up your own, you can tailor this to your own self. Always follow your own self. You can tailor it, but the basic phrase would be, what would happen if I loved myself? So I think that this is something that might actually work to change the life from constant conflict. Go inside. Oh, this is maybe what to do. Go deep inside. Go into a meditation. I'm all about meditating now. I like being in stillness because I'm too lazy to be moving all around. Just kidding. Actually, sometimes I am too tired. It's just like still. I am meditating. You can be still and still doing something. You don't have to be running around and exercising, even though it is obviously good to exercise. And I do love to go out and exercise. But if you're meditating, you are still doing something. Your mind is going within. Go inside those glands, that information that is there. You know, this is why they told everybody not to do any drugs, not to do any alternative substances that come from the earth herself. When you ingest the earth, obviously we eat vegetables and we eat animals and we eat things from the earth, flowers and fruits from the earth. When you ingest the earth, you learn, you experience the earth, you know. So, you know, if you smudge your body, that's okay, because that can actually massage the pineal gland and activate the third eye and soften all the fluoride and get rid of all these chains we're in, these constrictions. You know, it's like, I see, you know, here you are going through life with these blinders on, and then, you know, you got to figure out a way to break this shit down. Matrix busting, yoo-hoo-hoo. How to break the matrix. I'll tell you one way that I think might work. Let's all try it. Ask yourself every second that you can think of it, what would happen if I loved myself? It's got the word love in it. Love, 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 love. Supposedly animals respond when you say love. They like that sound. Try it with your animal. I used to try that with my cat. She seemed to like it. So anyways, that's what I wanted to say. What would happen if I loved myself? Say it to yourself. Ask yourself. What would happen if you loved yourself? What would happen? Maybe you don't even realize how much you don't love yourself till you ask that question. Maybe you'll find out how much you do love yourself already. But I think that in general, this is the universe of we don't love ourselves. This is the universe of beating yourself up. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. Original sin right there, built in. Sin. What's this sin crap? We have to think about these things, but to keep it simple, what would happen if I loved myself? What would happen if you loved yourself? What would happen? What would happen? Just what would happen? I don't know what would happen, but if you keep asking that question, it changes your mindset. It opens and it makes you consider. Once you're in a state of curiosity and considering, you are then free to travel the universe. And if you can, digest the idea of possible till proven impossible, the entire universe takes on a whole different tone, flavor, experience, meaning, because instead of squishing it all into a small little box that you can try to understand, even though obviously there's way more around this box than just inside here, if you could break free, let's break free. Together. We have to do it together. There's the masses involved. I'm gonna, Vimeo is not just Vimeo is actually where the cool artists are, not just the sex people who are interested in looking at people's naked bodies, although there's plenty of that. But they're way more, I don't know. It just seems like a different crowd. I'm not interested in, my interest is to enlighten and break the matrix, And I think that part of my whole MBA thing, my magical breast action thing, was me being in touch with my body in a positive way. And of course it gets twisted and turned. Everybody attacks you. The minute you feel joy, you're going to get attacked. That's the problem. So so we just keep asking, what would happen if I loved myself? Instead of let's not get caught up in anything outside of ourselves. The only way to bring this up, they're going to whoever they are, the Illuminati or whatever, the people in control of the world, the banks, the religions, all of those people in control of the world and who want to maintain control, who are control freaks and egomaniacs and greed monsters, those guys are going to try really hard to come down extra hard with all of the controls that they have, which means I've already seen a little bit of this. They're coming down harder with just even in the high schools. There's more rules. The cops are they want your fingerprint on everything. They want everything about everything, all your information. They want to put guns on the street. It's just that it's America, so they have a hard time doing that. But they're trying to mind screw you and control you through your mind. So type B blood are supposedly, they can easily be controlled. So does type A negative, the negatives, which is RH negative, which is I am. They say we're easy to control, but I find myself very hard to control. I don't give my power away. I hold on to my mind. You have to hold on to yourself. Do not give it away. Do not worship all these fucking people. Excuse my French. Stop worshiping. Stop thinking that you need to give your power to some greater, higher, fucking power-hungry maniac. That's all that you're giving your power to. What kind of true spirit would want all of your energy for themselves? A truly high being would want you to have your own. This woman, Barbara Marciniak made this comment. When you listen to these videos over and over, you hear things that you miss. Because I go into space out, or I jump off into the fourth or fifth dimension. I'll hear something that will trigger me into almost another Tesseract, I guess, or something. So then I'll miss something, but then I'll go back and listen, and then I hear stuff. And one thing she said was that, oh, damn it, Barbara Marciniak, what'd she say? Oh, I forgot it, but I'll get it back. Don't worry. I'm making more videos about this. It'll all come back. It'll all be said. But she did say something that I thought was, that's what it was. Enki. She said that Enki, and I feel like Barbara Marciniak is one of the Anunnaki, sort of, doing their job of pretending not to be, just slowly, gently trying to get us into this whole Anunnaki concept. But she said that Enki was interested in making humans enlightened like he was, because he wanted to play with us with more. Is that what he wanted us to have more abilities so that we were more interesting and more fun. He wanted us to be more equal. I think Enki fell in love with his creation, and I think Enki, who was a god, quote unquote, which just means he was a really good scientist, was in love with his creation, was in love with one of the the, the, the daughters of man. And there is this Beauty and the Beast love story in there somehow. And he was not supposed to break that barrier between the gods or the scientists, the big, and then us little humans. But he went ahead and did it, and he went ahead and did it behind. I mean, he broke all these rules, I guess. I want to know the story so bad. Oh my God, I can't even tell you. Oh, she's getting ready to go by. Okay, so anyways, so just ask yourself that, what would happen if I loved myself? And I'm going to be talking about this more, I'm going to be doing different things, and anything that might seem racy or radical, I'm going to hand over, like I said, to my friends, the Roses, because the Roses don't get hacked and stalked by people who are trying to bring her down, them. So I think I'll let them handle stuff. Don't you think that's a good idea? In the meantime, and I'm sure the Roses will also talk about what will happen if I love myself, even when they get into bitchy moods, because they get bitchy sometimes, like we all do. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I noticed that I have somebody subscribing, and then they unsubscribe, and I think it's either the guys that think they're going to see all this cleavage or something, and then they realize this channel is so about like skincare, because I'm just mixing it, or they're the ones who come in for the skincare and they don't like my anti-Christian sentiments, because I don't believe in following religions. I believe that you should follow your inner heart and your inner mind, and you go inside, think for yourself, just every second ask a question. And as soon as you ask a question about what you see in front of you, you will be then thinking for yourself. And then you can get your soul back, or to be in stronger, better shape in this extremely challenging, difficult test school that we're in, which we need help and support with, because it gets so dark and down sometimes you just want to get out. You don't want to play the game. It's hard. So before, they want to kill everybody who they think is an icon, or they take them over so that they can control what these icons, John Lennon, they kill everybody who gets too big, or they try to control them. So, if you're a whistleblower, they try to kill you, because they want you to shut up so that you don't get all the humans to break free of the matrix, because we are their food. We are high-end food. Imagine how tasty we must be. Pigs make delicious bacon, so we might be tasty too. We might just be the damn finest meal that you can get in this universe. I bet you that we are. I bet you we are the finest meal, and frankly, I think that we should be paid for these creatures to take our bodies once we die. I think that they should pay us. Instead of selling our bodies secretly behind our backs and pretending that they don't, and lying about every single freaking thing that happens on this planet, I think that instead, this is so far elite. First of all, you have to believe that you're being sold illegally, your body, and eaten. That's hard enough to believe, let alone you deciding that you're gonna put a price on your own body. It's like you're taking my body and selling it behind my back right before it's cremated, or whoever. There's a whole long story about that. But, what if we took control? It's like, what? If you want to eat my body after I've gone through all this life experience and I have all this knowledge, and my body is then valuable, you can pay me for it. One thing that Aaron Green said was that the super soldiers don't die. They stay in the same vehicle, or she used the word container. And their bodies don't die like normal human bodies. You know, which is weird. But then again, I understand that. Sometimes I think I think we all think we're not gonna die, but I mean, except for that I know that we die, and I know I've reincarnated a gazillion times. So I also know you go through the death experience, which, by the way, is not a bad experience, guys. Stop being afraid of it. The only way you can go to hell is if you believe in the Catholic Church. Sorry, guys, but it's the only way to get out of you got 50%, right? You're here, you are caught in purgatory on planet Earth, and you can go to heaven or hell. And if you believe in the Catholic Church, you're going to go to heaven or hell, right? Because that's what the Catholic Church is all about. So dumb. If you don't want to deal with that issue, stop believing in that garbage. If you want to, you believe in it, then you got a 50-50 choice, Good luck. Or you decide to toss the Catholic Church, and you really look at the truth about it, and you realize it's a bunch of garbage that takes your money, and it takes your spirit and your happiness and your sex drive and your soul and all your joy. They take all your money and all your joy, and they make you feel guilty and bad and shamed. That's pretty good to control, while they take all the gold in the world. And wait till you find out what's been going on under the Vatican. That's going to change everything when that comes out. I'm not saying what's going on this channel, but when it comes out, it's going to be pretty tough on everybody, because they're people who've really believed are going to have to face the fact that this is the biggest betrayal. Just be prepared for huge betrayal. That's what this is. That's what we have to face. Can we forgive these huge betrayals? That's the hard thing. And it isn't easy. The way to do it, make a circle. Make a circle and hold it at your heart and say to yourself, what will happen? What would happen if I loved myself? Okay? And I think that we can do this, because I want to get the hell out of this Tesseract. Or at least make it, I want to graduate from Planet Hell and Tesseract school, and I want to do my job and face the music and, face my darkness and rise above, as they say. You know who told me that, don't you? That rotten person that ruined my life recently. Anyways, thanks, guys. Love you. I will send more later. And big kiss. What would happen if you loved yourself? I hope you love yourself, and you find out what would happen if you loved yourself. And I'm going to ask myself what would happen if I love myself today, and see what happens. And I'll let you know later, and you can let me know too. So, big kiss, guys. You're the best.